my favorite people. It's Miss Berger, and I'm joined by
Mrs. Lamb.
And we are here for another video talking to you about verbal translations. But wait.
Our learning target.
Yeah.
I can translate verbal expression.
There's that word again, translate.
Yeah.
Mrs. Lamb, what is a translation and why is it important?
Well, we translate because first of all, math is not just naked number problems.
It's not just numbers.
No, it's not just numbers. We have word problems.
There's words.
We need to use them in symbols to mathematically solve things or understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So we sometimes have to take the words and make them into the symbols.
That's right.
It's all about word problems.
So translating means I'm taking something from one language and I'm putting it into another, right? That word translate. So when we do verbal translations, we're taking a number problem written in words and turning it into a problem written in numbers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But we use it in word problems when we're looking at the symbols and during algebra.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing we have to do.
Right.
So what is it? Let's see it. Here we go.
Oops.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Ready? Hold on. Here we go. I did it.
Now these are just a couple examples that you can look at where they have actually taken the words. The sum means to add a number. Who knows? So we put a variable, any variable, and 9. So we're putting those two together to make this expression.
Right, so this is what a translation is.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a verbal phrase, the difference of a number and 21. Well, okay, if I wanted to write that as an expression, a number can be any variable. For this one, it's n minus 21, right? The difference, so sum, add, difference, subtract, product, multiply, quotient, divide. So we have to know those key words that let us know what operation we're using. And if it says a number, then you're just picking a variable. Unless it says what variable to use.
Right.
Because sometimes it will.
The next two, go ahead.
Yeah.
The next two are just some examples. This is a small list, something that you might want to, if you're working, pause it.
Yes.
Have it on another screen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pause and write this list down because
Mm-hmm.
these are words that mean add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Because it's not always going to be sum, difference, product, quotient.
Yeah, those
right?
are the most common, most whatever.
Right, but sometimes they'll say increase or decrease.
Or subtract, or minus.
Right?
Or
twice.
Yeah.
Triple, multiplied,
Mm-hmm.
ratio, divided. So we have to know those key words. So this is a little list, but
And the reason we added this list.
it's also a big list.
Yeah, and the reason we added it is because of the powers, like squared, cubed, to the 4th power, 5th power.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also not going to just do expressions.
That's
You
right.
actually are going to do equations, which are equal, and inequalities, which are not equal. So we wanted you to have this little larger list, especially for these down here. And then there was a couple really good ones that
That's right.
We're
So
not
pause and write these key words down.
Yeah.
Because these are things you need to know as you're practicing these verbal translations.
all right.
And they
now-
can get tricky, so we're going to show you some.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a couple, and we'll just every other it. Is that
Okay.
right? Okay,
Yes,
so let me get a pen.
Let's
Do you want to start, or do you want to go second?
I'll go second.
Okay, so let's look. Okay, so here's our first example. It says the difference between x and y divided by 3. Okay, so I'm going to chunk this, right? The difference between x and y, so that's x minus y, kind of stick with that order, right? Order matters in this scenario, and I erased it, so x minus y. I don't know how I erased it. And then I'm going to divide it by 3. So I'm going to take that whole thing, divide it by 3, right?
Okay.
So that would be a translation. Words into an actual expression.
Okay. So this one, I have 3 more than. Now, more than means I'm going to add to it. And this product means I'm multiplying. And the product is 8 and b. So I'm going to start with the product. And that's just a habit in algebra. So I'm going to do the product. And notice that I'm just going to put the coefficient 8 next to the variable b. And then I'm going to add 3 more to it.
Right.
Now, I don't want you to think you would be wrong if you did this, because both of those would be correct.
It is.
It's just this one is more algebraically accepted,
That's
or
right.
it's just you tend to see
Mathematically
it.
appropriate.
Yeah, you see this more, but either one of those would work.
Yeah, and do we know why that we can multiply?
Property.
Right. Why can I change that order with addition? What's that called?
Commutative property.
The commutative property. Commute. Think of like traveling. Commutative property of addition. All right. So P less than N. So this is really important when you're reading these verbal translations to really process what is happening and like what order does it have to go in. Because remember, even though I can flip-flop with addition and I can flip-flop with multiplication, I cannot flip-flop with subtraction or division. Right. With subtraction and division, order matters. So this says P less than N, right? So I have N, and I'm going to subtract P.
Because you're taking
I'm taking P away from N. So N minus P. P minus N would be incorrect.
Okay. Next, 2/3. This, I know, is a fraction.
2/3.
2/3. 2/3 of, that word of
Means what operation?
multiplication. So I'm just going to do this.
2/3 K. Yeah, we don't need that multiplication symbol in the middle, right? Coefficient, variable, side by side, multiply.
And this term is in its simplest form. There are other ways, like you said, of writing it, but we don't need it. We want to be, algebra loves simplicity. It's an elegant language.
That's true. All right, let's look. A number, so I can just choose a variable, increased by 4 is 100. So this is now an equation, right? A number increased by 4 equals or is 100. So I'm going to do X. Increased means add. That 4 and equals 100. So I can translate equations also.
Right. Our next page, the reason we kind of added some more is because there's just so many possibilities.
So many.
But this one, we have a little bit of inequalities in here. So let's go to this. Let's start with this one, and I get the first inequality.
Woo!
2 divided by a number, which I'm going to use the variable n. I'm just going to write it above here for a second.
Okay.
Is less than or equal to. Ooh.
We haven't done inequalities
less
yet.
Than or equal to.
Right, so that's something that we'll look at soon.
So there, I've got it. I'm just going to write it in order. I'll throw it up here. 2 over divided by n is less than or equal to 1.
Perfect.
And by the way, you're going to be learning how to solve those coming up here soon. I
Coming
love
up here soon.
algebra.
A number decreased by 33. So I'm going to also use the variable n, but it's decreased by, right? So a number, n, decreased by 33.
Very cool.
And again, order matters.
All right, the quotient. Quotient, I know, is division of 10 and a number is equals 10 and a number is 20. Okay, the quotient of 10 and a number. 10 divided by n is 20.
20. And right, so the order here, 10 and a number, right? So you kind of go 10 divided by n equals 20. All right, a number cubed is greater than 125. So if you think back to exponents, cubed is that special exponent 3. So is greater than, so a number, n, cubed, is greater than 125.
Awesome. Last
Pretty
one.
simple, last one.
Ooh, product. I know.
Product.
That means multiplication of 17 and a number. Now, again, one of the reasons I love this is because I know that 17 and a number without a symbol in between means we're multiplying. Coefficient times the variable, that means multiplication in its simplest form.
And that's it.
That's it.
Right? So if you're a little confused, watch the next video. But if you feel like you got it, go ahead and get that practice going on for today.
Practice, practice, practice.
We love ya.
Love ya. Bye.